Should I take the first offer that an insurance company makes me? That's a very good question. And it's a question that comes up because there's two insurance companies right now, Progressive and Geico, that are going out right away after a crash and making an offer and making it sometimes within the same day that person's in the accident. Why is that a problem? Because you don't know that day what your injuries are. You don't know the extent of what kind of treatment you're going to need. And frankly, a lot of people are confused. They don't know what's going on. Their mind's not right because they're dealing with the insurance company, they're dealing with the accident, they're dealing with their injuries, they're dealing with their car. They got a million things going on in their mind. And the insurance company is telling them, and this is what they do. They say, let me give you $2,000 and that's going to cover your medical treatment. Well, you're going to go for a few days and you may have an MRI. This is going to pay for everything. And what some of the insurance companies are doing now, it's new in the last 6 months, is they're audio taping you admit that you want to take the money, and then they're sending you a DocuSign. And the DocuSign that they're sending you is a release. It's a release of any and all claims, past, present, future. Once you DocuSign that release, there's a strong argument that you have released your claim completely. And we see this more often than we should, because people get confused, they get lost in the initial process, and they say, let me just take that money. And a lot of times they tell us, but then we find out otherwise, that the insurance company inferred to them that this is just like a starting point, you can get more money. The problem is, once they either physically sign or DocuSign that release, they're done. And that's a big problem. One of the other questions that we get asked is, when I have an attorney, should I accept the first offer that's made? Never accept the first offer that's made in a case. I was a former defense attorney for 10 years. I know how to evaluate cases. When I switched sides from being defense to doing victims work, plaintiffs work, I said to myself, gosh, I know how to evaluate a case. I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm going to make a realistic demand. And what I realized is that's not the way 99.99% of people work. The insurance companies always start really low. A lot of times the plaintiff attorneys really start high. That low offer is usually a lot less than what you're ever going to get. So even if you handle it on your own or with an attorney, you will not ever want to accept that first offer. And a lot of times people will say it's a final offer to us or even to you. When we find out it's really not a final offer, there's a little bit more money that can be out there. So every time you want to have an experienced attorney, I've been negotiating claims for 25 years, cases for 25 years. I, a lot of times, know where I think a case may settle, but we can keep pushing various ways to get you more compensation and get you fair compensation, whether that's pre-suit and we're just negotiating with the claims rep, or whether that's in suit. A lot of times in suit, we're at mediations, or we're even just settling it directly with the attorneys or the claims reps in suit, and we can help you get a lot more money by continuing those negotiations. But the first offer is always the lowest offer. It's always a starting point. You should never accept the first offer. But the biggest caveat I would give you is, don't ever accept the offer from the insurance company within days after the crash. There's no rush. You have 2 years now to file a lawsuit, so you have plenty of time to make that decision. Make sure you do not get forced into a quick settlement that you think is going to help you that may actually be one of the worst decisions you can make.